This is really one of my first favorite assignments, as this project allowed me to show a variety of things that really have to do with my classroom. SPED 730, we talked about a great many things that had to do with the classroom. 854, collaboration, we're talking about being able to collaborate all over the place. And so SPED 741 was the first class where we were really focusing instruction in the classroom just with students. And so it was one of my first favorite assignments. I was able to think about this, the content of the paper, for my own students and begin to pick out the strategies that I knew would work well for them. In working at a center school, I had to extrapolate and do some extra thinking about which of these strategies would be most beneficial. Not the strategies that I shared in the paper, but of the strategies that we had discussed in class. So these are all still going on in my class. In fact, I just went to a training the other day on environmental communication training with embedded opportunities for communication. This is an ongoing interest of mine, and I think that it's so important, particularly at the center school level, where you're talking about social emotional instruction, communication instruction. It's necessary to use these techniques, and I think one of my it's just continuous that we're using the incidental instruction strategies every moment of the day. I also found one of the things that I didn't have room to talk about in the paper itself is that being at the center school, many of my students still need specific instruction, explicit instruction in Tier 1 words. Those are not, they have not all mastered many of the Tier 1 words, even at the middle school age group. So many of the strategies discussed here we use specifically for Tier 1 still, and in Tier 2 I found that those words are also broken up into kind of tiers based on how often they are used, how often people use those in speaking or writing, and those are called subgroups. So Tier 2 words are broken down into subgroups so that I can focus on the most common Tier 2 words with my students. One of the other things that this paper represents is that first real boom in growth of specific strategies for the classroom. At the beginning of the video, I talked about the fact that this course was focused on classroom instruction, and so this is one of the first areas where I saw a dramatic change in my instruction for my students and their success going up and their enjoyment of learning about reading because they were successful began to increase. And particularly in the area of vocabulary development, that was largely because of the thinking involved in completing this assignment.